Well, Adam, from 2-0 down, half an hour in, to 2-2 as a final score, what do you make of the performance?
Mad game, tough game. To be honest, the first half was probably everything we didn't want it to be. Really, we wanted to be, compact and put a press on them and be organised. We were just a bit all over the place. To be honest, conceded 2 goals. Second goal's a great strike, but he's got too much space because he's got so much ability cutting in on his left foot. But the first 20 minutes were like a game of basketball. It could have been 3 each after 15-20 minutes. It was crazy. So obviously we find ourselves 2-0 down, and then we made a little bit of a change at half time. We went to a 4-4-2, got Pearsey up there closer to Jimmy. Had a great chance at the start of the second half. Pearsey's gone through, keeper's made a save. But to be fair to the lads, they just kept going. We had to ride our luck at times a little bit on the break. But Posher and Devon and Finn's recovery defending was outstanding at times. In 1v1 duels against lads with pace, and Cedric Main's a real, handful. And obviously then, we brought George on and really went for it and played with just the 3 and 4 free strikers. And in the end, I felt we deserved something out of the game. But I said after the last game, this was going to be arguably our most difficult remaining fixture, and that's exactly what it proved to be. I think these are a good side. I've watched a lot of them. Some, dismantled, filed away a couple of weeks ago, and deservedly so. They've got some good players and they've got pace in the team. Technically they're good, they try to play, and if you don't get your press right, they'll hurt you. And that first half we didn't get the press right. Second half we were better, we were more aggressive, and in the end, just credit to the players really for keep going.
I know that you're not necessarily one for excuses, but with Blyth playing one less game in the run-up into this fixture, and you're saying yourself there that you wanted to try and go out there, put a press onto these guys early, do you think that that's made any kind of impact in the first 45 minutes with the way that the game sort of stepped out, or do you think that just generally looking objectively that it was just a bit of a, like you say, a basketball game?
Yeah, listen, I don't think we've had pretty much a full week to recover. So that'd just be an excuse from our point of view, and we're not ones for making those. Maybe they were a bit fresher, I don't know, but the way that we kept pushing, and I think my team's a fit team. I think the lads are fit lads, and I think when you're 2-0 down, it's more about mentality more than anything, and the key is getting the next goal in the game. We managed to do that. We wanted to try and get it a little bit sooner than we did, but we managed to get it, and then you just feel it. Then you feel a bit of nervousness on them. They drop off. The crowd get a little bit quieter, a little bit of frustration, and that's just natural with the position that they're in. But we had to make that happen, and we did. And to then go and score from late on and get a very valuable point. Then just credit to the lads. I think early on there was so much space for both teams. They just used the ball better than we did. But all in all, that's a great point from 2-0 down and 8 unbeaten now, which I think is another club record. And just credit to the players really, because they've had a couple of weeks now where they've been relentless, and they've kept going and fighting till the death for every single point we can scrap together, and they broke a few records on the way. So I'm just really pleased for them more than anything.
Before the goal did go in, about 15-20 minutes beforehand, there was a big shout for a penalty in the second half. About handball, I believe, was the shout that yourself, Alex, Jack on the bench, even Pearsey, Jimmy, plenty of players themselves were convinced and incensed that it wasn't awarded. Do you think if that penalty is awarded and the goal gets converted, what do you think that does with it being so much longer left in the game?
It's hard to say, it's all ifs and buts. What I would say is I felt it was a penalty. I'll have to see it back before I go, criticising the referee. What I would say is he gave us a penalty at Southport away for a clear handball that nobody gave, and he was the only man on the pitch who saw it, other than our players of course, and he was brave enough to give it. And maybe today there's one that's just not quite gone our way. If it did hit his hand, because I was right behind the line of the ball, Aidan's cut inside, and he struck it well, and it certainly looked and sounded like it made connection with his hand. But that's just the way it goes. You get something, you don't get everything. Of course, if it is a penalty and we do convert it, there's a lot of ifs in that sentence. But it obviously then reduces their lead, and we've got longer on the clock. So from the way the game ended, we were pushing to try and win it. But from half time 2-0 down, with the way that things were going, I think everybody would have snapped your hand off for a point. So we've got to be really pleased with what we've got.
And especially with the record as well, these two clubs have, that's the first draw in 11 meetings in the National League North between these two sides, so it's a serious feat for you and the boys. Before a ball was even kicked, there was a change late on. Sam Walker was withdrawn late due to injury. Is there any update? Is it his hamstring that's playing up again?
It's his calf, and it's his other calf as well, I believe. So just gutted for him, really. Absolutely gutted for him. He's obviously had a few issues in the last month or so. And he's obviously had more time to kind of come back because he's not been in the team because the other lads have been doing so well. And I felt it was a Sam Walker type game today. I think his experience and know-how. I don't think there's anywhere we would have been ragged apart in the first half if he'd have been on the pitch. But just gutted for him. But it just shows the type of lad that he is. He's obviously absolutely devastated, and emotional before the game. But you get to half time and he's giving sound advice to the players, and just showing the proper bloke and winner and competitor that he is. So just gutted for him, really. I think Marnie, when Sam did go off the pitch before the game in the warm-up, Marnie obviously as club captain, his first reaction was we've got to get around him, and all the lads did do that before the game. Listen, whether that had an impact, making that late change on how the first half went, we'll never know. But the group of lads, they stick together and they rally around one another, and they could obviously all see that Sam was gutted and that he was hurting, and that's just what this group does. They get together, they stick together, they support one another when somebody's down, and we'll just have to see how it settles down for Sam now. Obviously we're approaching the end of the season, there's no chance for Tuesday, but we'll just have to assess him in the week and see what the script is.
And then speaking on Tuesday, we're back not too far away from this neck of the woods actually, Darlington away. How are you looking to approach this one given their current form at the moment in the league?
I don't know how they've got on today, to be honest. I haven't had a chance to look at any of the results, and they don't really bother me, to be honest. It's more about what we do. I'm guessing that if they haven't won, then we'll be closer to them, point closer to them. So yeah, it's just another big game, isn't it? As I said to the players after the game, that point could be a really big point. And that's one of our games in hand, and we've got to go and try and win it. It's going to be tough, especially with the effort that we've had to put in there today to get a point. Obviously the travel now back, the travel up on Tuesday, it's going to be tough. And well, what I would say is they're the ones with all the pressure on them, because I think about 10-15 games ago we were quite a way off the playoffs, and now we going into today we were 6 points off fourth, and at one point they were in the race for the title when they came to us at our place and beat us, and now we're within touching distance of them. So they're a big club, they've got a good team, they've got some good players, they'll have a big crowd on Tuesday night, no doubt, and I think it's just a game that we can go and give everything to, enjoy, relish, because like I said, I don't think we're the ones with any pressure on us.
Great, Adam, thanks for your time.
Cheers.